We have event list page now, but now we will create event detail page and later we will add navigation to it. I'm thinking to have navigation and DI in the next chapter because that is a different concept altogether and it will be a bit longer video. So first we'll create a second page because without that we won't be able to navigate, add the navigation to the application. So once that page is there, we will be doing navigation and adding dependency injection. And I will tell you why you need dependency injection. So all of those things will be taught in the next chapter. For creating another page, because it's in home, we will go to the presentation folder inside home and then we will create another folder, event detail. Okay. And here we will create a page that would be event detail page. The first thing that this page will do is it will take a event class because it's going to show details about a specific event. So we will be declaring this as a final variable and declaring as a required thing, because without this page won't show up, right? And second would be we will be going to main.dart and changing the entry page and saying that instead of nothing, just consider having the first event. So this will help us in supplying the event hard-coded as of now, but later when we add navigation, we will be doing a dynamic event here. So until then, let's consider this approach. On restarting the application, you see this placeholder. Okay, so first thing would be to put a scaffold because it's a new page. Why not use a scaffold? And inside that, my body would be a stack. Now why stack? There will be a bottom button here and the content will be scrolling behind it, right? So I will have majorly two children here. One will be a column, and later because now we are creating it as a simpler way, but later we will be also using slivers. So be on this video to understand how you can migrate your basic code or basic UI elements to slivers, or you can call slivers, whatever you like or whatever comes naturally to you. Fine. So inside this column we will have multiple children and then there will be a button, okay, at the bottom that I will create in some time. So let's create in a more natural way that we like to be. Like first we will have a app bar and let's stop this column, right? So in this leading icon I will be having icon button, okay, and that icon button will have icon. That icon will be your back button, arrow back, and I am using this rounded style of back buttons, so I will have rounded button, and this will also have on pressed, so let's have that. We will add, when we add navigation, this will be done. So this is my back button. Great. Now we will continue with the body part. I will add an image first of all here. So what will be my image? Image.asset and asset, or I can simply take from event.image path. Okay, so this is my image. Now let's run it, how it looks like. Okay, great. So we have this basic image, right? It is taking complete width of the screen and everything is good. What happens when we take any other events image? Let's try to play with all the type of different okay, this time it takes a different height. So basically this, you might have understood that whatever the image is, this image will be shown, correct? So what we can do for this type of scenario, we can make sure that it's using boxfit.cover, and nothing changes. So, and what would be its width? Let's say the width will be media query.off, and then we will take the size and then width of the screen. So this media query.off context.size.width is the width of your screen. Okay, so we will run this again. The only way that we can control its height is by hard coding its height. So let's say if you want to hard code its height, you will take size, height of the screen multiplied by 0.3. So this takes height of your screen and takes 30% of that height. Now we can say that use cover so that it covers the whole part. Okay, so this is how you can. We will not go with this approach because we will be using slivers, and that would work in a better way. So after this image, then we have event section where we will have a name of the event. Then there is a favorite icon or bookmark icon. Then there are some details about it. So let's carry on with that. I will have a row, and inside that row, the first element would be my text, of course, event.name. Okay, so this is how it looks like, right? So this will happen. Why? Because we will need to wrap this in expanded, as I said before. Okay, so this is my name of the event. Also, you might have noticed that it doesn't match with the font style because you know that headline is small, we have not overridden it. So let's do it right away. Headline is small and take headline small there. This headline is small, will have size of 24, body weight of 600. Great. Now let's run it again. Hot restart the application, and now you will see the font coming into picture. After this, in the row, we have another element, and that element is nothing but an image, right? So we need to add a icon button. Okay, and here it will be like this, and we have this icon. Great, very nice. But you see, we should have some margin from top, so let's wrap this inside padding. Or from all sides, let's give it 16. Inside this padding, or inside this row, after this padding, we will have a gap of some height, let's say 8, and then we'll have another text that would give us date. So this date is, again, we will calculate this date similar manner. So what as an advanced thing you can do here is you can format this date once in your utility packages and then use it for every place where you want to format your date, right? Or you can create an extension of that, and that would be sufficient. So why not? Let's create it. So going to utility, there is a lint analysis package, and in the core there is a design package. For now, let's create another folder here itself. Just create a extensions folder, and let's create another Dart file here, and let's say string dot, or sorry, event dot extensions, event extensions. Now this is not actually a utility sort of thing. What I feel is this should be inside your features as a common thing, but yeah, it is used in multiple features, so let's have it in event extensions only. Let's create extension. Let's have x event, okay, on event. So this will run on event, convert date or presentable date. Let's say this is a function, presentable date, this is a function, and it's gonna return us something. Now we will copy this function from our getter. Basically it's in event item. So we have this function. Let's copy this, go to that extension and do this. Now event is automatically supplied to it with the help of this candidate, or even we don't need this because this is just another linter rule that tells us that you unnecessarily don't need this because you are already in an extension, right? It understands that whatever data or whatever type will be supplied is of event type, so it understands that. So this is how you can create extension. Now what we will do, we will go to event item again and get rid of this, right? And here where we are using date, we will be using our event dot presentable date. So just by this small thing, you will achieve the similar functionality, and it will be generic, right? So let's have the same thing here, and let's use this. Okay, maybe it's not imported. Great. So we have our date here. Again, it's in center. The reason being same. Column has by default its cross-axis alignment is center. So now we have this date at proper position, but we applied this padding to a wrong object. So let's not apply to row. Let's apply to the whole page. That is our column. So let's apply this padding to complete column. But now the image is a problem. Okay, so hang on for a bit, because as of now, this is gonna be refactored anyway in this video itself. So just hang on. Let it be like this. We will anyway handle this with the help of app bar. So let's continue with our thing, and let's add another size box and a combination of size box and text. So this time we will have a location. Probably we don't need this, and here as well. We can create the same extension for showing the location, but it's simpler and just one-liner, so let's not do that. It depends on you as well. So we have given the location here. Then we can have another size box. This time it would be bigger height, and we will have another row. So what we will do here is we will show the price of this event, and let's continue with that. We will have a text. This is how it looks. So we will have another text to show the cost, and that would be same function. So event dot cost, if it's equals to 0, then show free, and when it's not equal to 0, and then show event dot cost together with dollar, and wrap this everything in a single quote, and that's it. So we have $1,000 written here with a space. Let's remove the space. But the problem here is it's not taking the complete space. It's just stuck near to price for one person. So let's wrap this text in expanded, so that, because this can be on a smaller screen, this can take multiple a bigger space than required. So this is how it looks like. Now before this text, we also would like to show a discount text if it is there. This time we will use this methodology that if discount is there, then only consider drawing this widget. Otherwise not required, because it's in horizontal manner, right? So if it's not equal to null, then we will draw this event.discount cost. And similar thing, if discount cost is take discount cost, otherwise just have it empty. Or no, not this time, not like this time. If discount cost is equals to no, that won't be a scenario where we have discount cost as 0. Or even if we have it as 0, let's say that if it is 0, again don't display it at all, but if it's not 0, then display it. This won't be a scenario, but let's do that way. Can't be assigned to the parameter string. So because, yeah, we can easily add exclamatory mark here, because here we have already checked for not equal to null. So let's run it. For this event, the discount price is not there. We can go to main.dart and try to change it. And before that, I just forgot to change this. Okay, so we'll go to main.dart and change the event let's see if there is somewhere discount cost is there. Great. So here it is. In the third element, the discount cost is there. Go to this detail page and add decoration to it like we did before. Oh, I applied to a different element altogether. Great. Now this time it's at a right position. Of course, it has to be a little bit distant from its cost. Let's wrap this with padding. So now we have this cost here. We can see that the style of cost is not correct. So it can be title medium, which we want a little bit bold, and it looks nice now. Fine. We are done with this. Now, what we can do is, see, your widget should not be too big, right? So what you can do is you can wrap, you can extract this widget into some another file. So let's create a file, event section dot. Okay, and this will be simple event section dot. That will again take final event, similar stuff. And why not take this advantage to just duplicate it and create a speaker section. Okay, let's do it right away, because next is speaker section. Let's replace this. So we have both these widgets ready. In the event section, copy this element from your row till here and just use event section, and event would be event, whatever you receive, same event. Of course, I think it will give me error to remove the const. We just have to use some imports and we will get rid of everything. Okay, fine. Here it's like this. And now if I okay, event section, there is one more error. Yeah, it has to be required thing. Okay, and similar thing happens to this one. It's a required one. Great. Now let's run it, and we see there are some changes, of course, because in event section again we will have to mention that it's cross-axis alignment start. So this is how it works. Great. Everything looks nice, correct? Now our UI also looks pretty straightforward. There is the column. We have this app bar, this image, then this event section. So let's also use a speaker section and supply event to it. Sooner we will move to Slivers, so just be there. To have speakers, we need to have another mock data and another model. So let's create speaker dot. I already have it ready and it is pretty straightforward. So let me just copy it. And this is the speaker. There is a bio, there is an image path, there is a profession, and there is a name of the speaker, right? Okay, before mocks we need images also, right? So inside our assets, now I will be also copying photos. Okay, so I copied photos and now I'm pasting here. Now we have photos as well. So we will have to specify that we need to generate assets for photos also. So heading over to pubspec.yaml file and running flutter pub-get command. And what changes we will see, that I will show you in the assets.generated.dart file. There will be some new entries. So there is one output, and we go here, and now we have this assets photos gen, where there is a boy 1, boy 2, girl 1, girl 2, and my photo as well. So these are all generated. Okay, now our major work is done to set this project up. So go to mock, and I have copied another list of speakers. So this is the this is the data about each of the speakers. There are around 6 speakers, I guess. So we will be having a list of some mocked speakers which we will be using to show speakers. But we also need to attach these speakers to the events, right? So let's have another field here, final list of speakers. Okay, and then of course it's required. Okay, great. So this is done. Now we have capabilities to attach speakers also. So we can say all the speakers will be attached to first event, let's say that, and then speakers from, I'm just using any random string. So let's take sub list of 0 to 3 speakers from here, and we will slowly modify all the events. Now we are in speaker section. So first thing is we need to have a title, and before that we will again have a column, of course, because title will be on top, and then we will have the list of speakers. So first we will have speakers here, the text. Speakers list is nothing very big, like not 100 speakers or 200 speakers. So we can actually do a smaller stuff, like we can use single child scroll view, and inside that we can have a row. This will also make your rows horizontally, make your element horizontally scalable. Okay, so not a problem with that. You just need to specify that again, your scroll direction, you have to specify that it will be horizontal. So when we run this, okay, now we have this speaker, right? So there must be some bigger gap between this event section and speaker section. Now there are multiple ways to do that as well. You can add some gap here, but we will be moving to slivers, right? So let's not do this thing. Let's go to event section, and here as a last element for this column, let's add a bigger size box with height of 32, so that there is sufficient gap between these two sections. And you see there is sufficient gap here. Now going back to speaker section, we will have a row, and then there will be children to it. We will be generating these children based on the speakers. So let's use list.generate this time, not for loop. You can use for loop as well, but let's use list.generate. This will generate a list of elements that we specify next. So how many elements we want? So event.speakers.length. These many elements we want to generate, and what we want to generate. So let's say a list style would be sufficient. List style is already created material type of widget where we can have a leading icon, and there can be a title as well, and there can be a subtitle. So for us this works perfect. Let's have a circle avatar, and inside that let's use clipper rect. I don't think that we need circle avatar anymore. Let's see, let's remove this, and let's directly have clip rect, because yeah, we want to clip, or we can use clip oval, because it would be a circle. Let's use clip oval, and then let's provide child to it. This would be image.asset, and inside that we will have again we already have the index ready. So event.speakers and then take the that number, that indexed speaker, and then take the image of that. So image path is the one for which we have the image for this speaker. In the title we will have a text widget. It would be event.speakers index, and then name. There will be subtitle, and in this subtitle we will be showing the profession of that user, that speaker. Obviously it cannot be body medium. So yeah, let's run it. Great, we got error. Now why? So because it's row and it doesn't have any specific height, so we will have to wrap this image.asset this list style in intrinsic width, because it doesn't know how much width to capture, so it will capture the width of its children, right? So using this, it's able to now locate, and I don't know where that gone, right? It's bit okay, maybe it's just a one speaker there, that's why. Let's see any other element. Let's say in the main.dart we'll have this one. Okay, so it's taking too much. Oh yeah, there is another element, but it's hidden, right? I scroll too much and then it comes out. I don't know why. So if you ever go in this fall into this condition, what you can do is let's have first of all row row size as minimum. We don't want it to take complete row size, row width. So let me restart this. Okay, see, initially we see two speakers, but now we don't see it. So how we can debug this? Let's say I don't know, let me wrap this in circle avatar, because that's what probably is the solution. Yeah, I don't know what happened actually. Clip oval doesn't actually work better. So try to remove it, but when you remove it, this circle avatar, the clip, it's not clipped, images are not clipped, so that's not right, correct? So let's have clip oval, but wrap this in circle avatar, because maybe circle avatar has a fixed width or height, right? So it works there. Of course, this speaker is in center because our row has taken complete width, and because of that the speaker has gone in center. So let's have cross axis alignment dot start. Now there is one more thing. You see, this is cut from here, right? So what we will do in future, we won't be anyway, when we go to slivers, we won't be having padding applied to the complete event detail page. What we will be having is, we will be having padding to event section. We won't be having any padding to speaker section, but we will be having padding to event section, because if we have a padding in speaker section, then this will happen. It's cut, right? And it doesn't look good. The way we did it in categories section, similarly we will do here as well. So hang on until I move to slivers, and then you will have a very good UI. So I think this is done from perspective of speaker. Now the bigger part would be to add another section, that would be about section. So why not, let's just copy from here and then paste it. Let's name it about section. We are almost there to move to slivers. Just this last thing that we want to do. And inside this, instead of a speaker, we will have about and another text basically. And we don't have anything like scrolling element. So this will be the text. We will have here a description of event, which we don't have a field as of now. So we will create that field now in the event class. Okay, so I have this about section. I have this description already added now. So let's integrate, or let's add about section here. So we have this problem, right? Why? Because again, this is not scrollable. So let's make it scrollable inside this padding. Let's wrap this in a single child scroll view and run it. So now we have this thing scrollable. Correct? Looks great. Of course, we need to change the way this gap is there. So what we will do is, after the speaker section, in the end of this speaker section, we have this column, right? So we can add another size box of similar height. Let's say 16 this time, because that's 32 would be too much. And of course, in the about section, we will have not title medium this time, but we will have body medium. But what body medium has is weight of 600. So for this specific thing, I want to have font weight of 400, because that would be thinner. So this looks pretty nice now. And now let's quickly add there is a button, right, to book this event. So let's go to event detail page, and once this stack closes, the second element would be our positioned button. We will create this widget now, and we will say what will be the text of this button. We will say the text would be book. And one more thing, instead of position button, we can have it as bottom button or something else. It depends on your naming conventions. And we will also give it a style. We'll also give it an on pressed function, so that we can later handle the on pressed things. Let's create now this position button can be used in multiple screens. So where we should define this? So for that, we will have another folder here called directory called widgets, and here we will have a function a widget called position button. Okay, this position button will always be used in a stack, right? So consider using a position widget here, and we will be using some button here. But before that, there are two things that are required here. So first will be your string text. This cannot be null, of course. And then there will be void callback, which we will use for on pressed. Okay, so what will be the child of this? Let's say a filled button. Okay, and filled button, that is it. Filled button requires I think a child first of all. So let's give it a child. This will be text. The text will be supplied to it. And then it also has on pressed. So here we will simply call on pressed (call), and this will make the call basically. Return it. And now where this will be, okay, let me just remove these errors, format the file, and try to use this position button here. And now let's run it. So we have this button here on the top left below the back arrow icon. So we need to give it a position to it, right? So let's say bottom 0. Great. Now it is at very bottom. And what we can do is, it's not exactly perfect position for this. We will see it later, but let's also have it expanded towards to the whole screen. So let's say 16 is the left guideline for this, and 16 is the right guideline for it. So now this button is taking whole screen. Now, one very good thing that we missed since the start. When you have such things like this, you should be ideally wrapping your stack in safe area, because nowadays phones have this bottom notch and things like that. So this will allow us to move this book button a little bit up, and it knows exactly how much is the bottom space taken by this bar. Other thing would be we'll change the style of this button, but you see when we added safe area, this text is hidden behind button. So we can add in the about section, we can add a sized box of height, let's say 32. If that works is okay, otherwise we will increase it. So 32 works perfect, I think. It works perfect for now. So let's close this, move to position button, and let's style this button now. So to styling, now we have these things. Okay, first of all, it can be sometimes callable, sometimes not callable. So let's make it nullable. Then moving to the style, we have this very good class called called button style, which was introduced when there was complete revamp of material styling. This was introduced, and then first of all, let's give it a shape. It's too rounded. We don't want that much rounded shape. So let's use material state property dot all, and then here we can give a rounded rectangle border where the border radius will be again border radius dot circular and 8. This looks okay. Let's add sufficient commas here, and this is how it looks. Let's rerun, and this is a button. Great. So we are done with shape. Now what next? So other than shape, we can add a background color to it. We are following something black and white theme. So I will have again material state property dot all. This material state property will help you when to set the states of this button, when it is disabled, when it is on pressed, or hover, and all of these things. As of now, we have only this. We just setting same color for every style. So let's say the color of that would be black. Let's say with black first of all, and looks good. Okay, but black 87 would give us little bit of opacity to it. So let's go with this. Then to the text style, we can copy this text style and give it a color of white, because we know that always this button will be black, right? So the text that is suited for this will be white. Should we go for body medium? That's under question. I mean, it looks good with body medium as well, so let's skip to it. Okay, great. We have this nicely scrolling element. We have this bottom button, and you see when I press it, it becomes more transparent. All right, and we can see the text behind it. So it looks pretty good. So what we can do next, as I told from the start itself, that we will be using slivers. So now it's the time to move to slivers. In the stack, there will be two children. So first will be custom scroll view. Okay, this is accepted by stack, and inside that it takes slivers. Okay, so the first sliver would be sliver image app bar. We will create this custom sliver just now. Let me pass event to it. Okay, and head on to event detail folder, create sliver image app bar. Why we want to move to slivers? First of all, because I want this scrolling effect to be parallax type of effect, and that's why I'm moving to this thing. So inside this, we'll create this widget, sliver image app bar. Okay, and it's of course going to take in the event, like always, like other elements. First thing would be to use sliver app bar. Inside this sliver app bar, again, we will just copy it from there. So I will, let's separate it out. Okay, inside that event detail page, I have this app bar. So my leading thing for this would be this icon button. Let's just cut it from here and use it here. Let's also get rid of app bar, because now we don't have anything in the app bar. After this leading, this image dot asset, right? So let's copy this, or you can say cut it from here, and here we will have one more thing called flexible space, and this takes a widget. We will be having flexible space bar. So what we will do is inside this flexible space bar, we will set background to it, and that background will be our image.asset. Now let's import this here, and for now, just for the sake of simplicity, let me just comment these things. At the end, what we will have is custom scroll view and the position button. All of these things will be migrated to Slivers. So let me run this. Now you have this app bar, correct? And it's scrolling still. It's scrolling because it's inside custom scroll view. But this app bar is pretty small, right? So we have to give some expanded height to it. Let's give it I want image of or let me remove this height first so that I can explain you things better. Great. Also, width is not required. It will take it takes completely everything. So that's why I was saying we don't require this width. Expanded height. So the height of this image that we want to be is 30% of your screen height. So let's do that only. And now this is great. You can already see there is some parallax effect. The image is moving slowly, but the bottom content is moving faster. And that is why now this back arrow becomes important. It will not be visible easily. So for that, this leading icon can be wrapped in a circle avatar. And you will have some, color to this back icon. And now it is also attached to the screen edge. So we'll add a padding to it. Let's say only left padding is sufficient for now. So let's add 16 as our base thing. And this is perfect. Great. Obviously it's clickable and there is some ripple effect and there is some this. Now let's move event section to this part. But see, now when I run it, we can't directly do it because when I run it, it will give me errors because this is a normal widget and we are dealing with slivers. So it has to be a sliver type of widget. For that, what we will do is go to the event section again and wrap this widget column with a sliver to box adapter. Great. We can scroll this. You can see the parallax effect. Now what we will do is we will add padding to this section. Okay. So padding would be 16 from all sides so that we have some left, top, right and bottom. And perfect. Great. One more section done. Now let's move to speaker section. Okay. Now in this speaker section, again, let's wrap this in sliver box adapter. Let's see the difference. Great. We have here as well, right? And now you see the padding is gone because padding is not there. Padding was there in this padding widget. We are not using that padding widget anymore. So all of these paddings are gone. Now we can just simply specify some padding to this speaker text. So let's say only, and let's have it 16. Oops, sorry. That's it. That is it, right? It's pretty nice to have a very easy migration to, normal widgets to sliver widgets. Let's move to event detail and let's work on this about section also. Okay, same things, nothing, rocket science. Once this is working, sliver to box adapter and then run it. Again, great. We just need to add some padding to it. And this time I will just add horizontal padding because we have already given some padding to the top with the help of this. Now you will see one difference. The text is hidden and that's why we might want to increase this to 48. Now it is perfect. So yeah, this screen is done. This is clickable. We will make it work in future sections where we will add a favorite screen, we will add repositories, we will add mock network calls and all those things. We will have bottom bar. And yes, now you will, one more thing that I wanted to mention was, you can see here that because of safe area, we are not able to access this, right? But we want to. So go to event detail page, and in the safe area, just stop using top, and your screen looks amazing then. So this is how you can, add parallax effect to your event detail screen, and then everything works perfect. You can see this. I can scroll it horizontally, and everything works perfect. So let's move to another chapter now, where we will add auto routing, and we will add DI.